But if you pay closer attention in here, you're gonna notice like there is some few hairs here and there that they look like they're miniaturized. So then I compared the pictures even 1 month, like in the end of December. So it was 11 months after my surgery, and it looks a little bit. Did someone order them up? What the fuck? This is what I got 1 year after my hair transplant. This is how I was looking before. Crazy, right? But obviously this mop of hair does not really feel right. And the problem right now is that the barbers are still closed. So I'm stuck with this. It's not the most comfortable hairstyle actually, and it goes to my eyes actually. So why don't we switch it? Do something like this. So much better, right? I definitely could use a haircut right now to kind of trim a little bit the, the length, if especially from the sides. But I think looks pretty good as well if I just put a little bit of product. And yeah, for those of you who see my face for the first time, I had hair transplant done 12 months ago, exactly. 3,659 grafts implanted in the frontal area, which was pretty much bald. And if you look at the pictures before me, and if you're gonna compare to me right now, that's like a... yeah, I like that. On this channel, I'm not just showing my personal hair transplant journey and experiences with no bullshit, with everything transparent. But also I'm talking about, hair loss and different tips and tricks, how to find a good surgeon, etc. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And yeah, let's discuss my final result actually, because everyone knows the full result after the hair transplant should be expected after roughly 12 months. So that's where I am right now. As always, we're gonna jump into the close-ups as we always do basically. But let's talk quickly about my overall thoughts about the hair transplant, because obviously I had no hair in the front before that. Now I've got something to style, which is absolutely great. It framed my face pretty nicely actually. Some people think I might benefit from a lower hairline, but to be honest, it looks very similar to what I had before I even start losing my hair. So yeah, a little bit of a temporal recession over here could have been a tiny bit lower, and in order to make it look really good, there's one thing that's a little bit missing right now with my hair transplant, which are temporal points. So if my temporal points would be just a tiny bit forward over here and closed, going up, I cannot really see right now, so don't bother what I'm trying to draw here. I already discussed on one of my previous videos about my second hair transplant plan basically, so go ahead, check it out. I'm discussing in great detail what I'm planning to do and what Dr. Ferreira proposed to me. In terms of density, to be honest, I'm extremely happy. Again, compared to where I started, it's a huge difference, so what I have to complain, I've got hair right now. But I see why it might appear sometimes that it looks a little bit too thin, I mean, from certain angles, right now, it doesn't look thin at all. It looks pretty decent, to be honest, and my hairline is absolutely natural, so that's good. But in certain light conditions or angles, it can appear a little bit on the thinner side, and it's mainly because my hair caliber, individual hair strands, are very thin. Their caliber, the diameter is 50 microns, 50 to 51 microns, and the average hair diameter is over 60, where thick hair have even 80 up to 100, microns as a hair shaft diameter. So imagine, some people have twice thicker hair than mine. So that's another thing to consider when you're looking at the results. To be honest, I had pretty good amount of hair transplanted, so I had the 3,659 grafts only in that frontal area, and my hair per graft average was 2.73, which means there's a lot of triple grafts, even quite a few quadruple, even it was I think 100 grafts of quintuple grafts. Imagine one graft producing 5 hairs. So if you stack them all around, it produced pretty good illusion of density, which is great. But I'm still feel like I would benefit just from a couple of hundred grafts sprinkled all over my hairline, and I think it's gonna be amazing. In terms of donor, so many people actually telling me off almost on every video, why I'm not showing my donor. Guys, there is nothing to show. It's it looks absolutely incredible. Like, I completely forgot about my donor just after first month. I went to the barber, I buzzed my hair down to 1 millimeter. You can have a look at this video over here. It looks really, really good and natural, and you cannot really say that there was any surgery done, to be honest, like after 1 month. So, like, think about it. There was no problem, so I'm not really thinking about it at all. That's why I'm not talking about it. So, nevertheless, it does not mean there is no scars. FUE is not a scarless procedure. So, in order to assess it properly, I'm gonna buzz my hair, obviously, before my second procedure, all the way down on the sides and on the top and everywhere. So, we're gonna be able to analyze. Also, another thing that I'm looking forward is to see how my actually recipient zone looks like with buzz cut. Because my hair is super thin, as we established earlier, and when the hair is longer, it creates a really good illusion of density. Like right now, it looks pretty good. We're gonna be able to compare before and after, before immediately after the surgery and after 12 months. And actually, we can see what was the survival rate. You can take like a 1 centimeter square and basically, you know, count the hairs that was implanted and what survived. When I was doing close-ups for this video, I spotted something worrying. When I look here, it doesn't look anything out of ordinary like I had before. My hair is super thin, it's a little bit see-through, everything is fine, everything is perfect. But if you pay closer attention in here, you're gonna notice like there is some few hairs here and there that they look like they're miniaturized. Compared to this surrounding hair, they're like, even the single grafts, they look much thicker than the other ones next to them. Like much thicker. So obviously this got me really worried. Like, okay, I know I'm Norwood 5, I know I had the FUE, I know the extractions were spread quite far away, but still within the Norwood 6 range. So technically I should be good, right? And obviously I started analyzing to see where's the problem. So first of all, I checked, okay, I'm still on finasteride 1 milligram a day, so technically should prevent further hair loss. And looking at my crown and overall, like the feeling that I'm losing hair, I'm not, like I'm really not shedding almost anything, like there's barely anything coming in the shower. So that's a bit weird, but still miniaturization can occur. So I started looking at my extraction pattern, and obviously I know that Dr. Ferreira, in order to extract finer singles to implant in the frontal hairline to make it like a more natural, he has to go all around the ears, you know, down the nape area, because in those areas the single grafts are much finer than you're gonna see like in the middle or the sides, like in the middle area over here where the grafts are much thicker. But also these areas are subject to a higher degree of miniaturization, let's say. They're less safe compared to the, you know, middle part of the donor area. But it's still, I feel like it's very weird because it doesn't look really that, you know, thin and anything. So then I remembered. That was actually my first close-ups with my new phone. Maybe my hairline was looking like that all of the time, but it just because of this, you know, different camera, basically, it creates this different illusion. So then I compared the pictures even 1 month, like in the end of December. So it was 11 months after my surgery, and it looks a little bit different, to be honest. So at this stage, we cannot really make a conclusion if some of those finer single grafts are actually miniaturizing or they've been like that all the time. There are only a couple of really options right now. So the first is hair is indeed miniaturizing, and obviously I'll have to monitor really closely each month until my second surgery. I'm not gonna be comparing and I'm gonna be able to see if it's actually the case, if it's miniaturizing more or it stays the same. The second possible option is that my hair was always like this, meaning that my individual hair diameter is between 50 and 51 microns, but it's likely it's been checked in like a thicker areas, and again likely around the ears and down the nape. These single hairs might be even thinner than that, so might have been always like this. And you know, if that's the case, I would be absolutely happy, because only because of that my hairline looks absolutely natural. You know, it looks really good, because if you look at the hairlines that don't have any hair loss, you're gonna notice straight away that they have a lot of these baby hairs, you know, which are pretty much like half transparent, like super thin, and you know, that creates this illusion of naturalness. Also, by the time of my second surgery, if I'm gonna really realize that it's miniaturization, obviously I'm gonna speak to Dr. Ferreira about it. I still didn't even email him, actually. I don't want to ring the bells. But if that's the case, I'm gonna obviously speak to him and I'm gonna ask him to don't go that close to these areas, just to kind of focus towards the middle, towards the more safer zone. Because in the end of the day, just a few grafts is not like a end of the world. If that's the case, you're just gonna, you know, fill in with a little bit more singles all around, and you know, it's gonna be good. So overall, I'm obviously extremely happy with my result. I've got so much hair that I didn't have before. I can style it, I can do whatever I want. Obviously, I've got half of the head filled with hair, so second hair transplant gonna fix this issue. I'm gonna finally have full set of hair. I'm still on preventive treatments, and I'm willing to go all in if I would need it, if I see I've got more miniaturization. So I'm planning to get oral minoxidil. I'm planning to get back on microneedling after my second hair transplant. Also down the line, I'm probably gonna start Brizula as soon as it's released at some point, probably 2023 or something. I'm not willing to try RU if that's your question. And yeah, transplant so far absolutely amazing. Definitely suggest to get it done if you find a good surgeon, and if you're on the fence, just do it. But also don't rush into it. Do your due diligence. Take as much time as possible to research and find your surgeon, because every surgeon is different. Most of them are shit. Very few are really good, so you have to find them. But if you find a good one, it's gonna be a life-changing experience. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for the next videos, which are gonna be really interesting. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Gonna do